It's Yaz, and today I want to talk about how a narcissist love is conditional love. And people ask all the time, what does that mean exactly? That means that a narcissist will not love you unconditionally, meaning that, you know, if you disagree with them, if you're going through something, they won't love you at certain times because the only times they want to love you is if you are able to do something for them or it's to some benefit. Then they will show you love, which is usually fake love. Conditional love is fake love. It's not real love. It's not loving the person, loving them internally. You can disagree with somebody, but you would still love the person if you love them unconditionally. And that's something that a narcissist can never do. They can never love somebody unconditionally because a narcissist is so self-serving. A narcissist is so selfish that they don't want to hear about your problems. They don't want to hear that you are sick. They don't want to hear that you have lack of sleep. They want to keep you on the phone, okay? A narcissist only is concerned with themselves. That's why sometimes, let's say you call up a narcissist and, you're telling them about something that you're going through in your life. You're going through a rough time. What is a narcissist going to do? They're going to switch it up and talk about themselves and how you are bothering them and causing them, you're ruining their day. They're not going to have empathy for you. This is what people don't understand. I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that a lot of people that have empathy think that narcissists are going to react the way they normally would. In other words, if you're somebody that sees somebody in crisis, you're going to go and try to help that person. You don't want to see a human being suffering. But when it comes to narcissists, they don't get involved unless it's something that's going to benefit them. And this is why you will never get fulfilled from a narcissist. I don't care who it is. It could be a family member. It could be a narcissistic parent. It could be a narcissistic partner. When you are going through the good, bad, and the ugly, okay? When you're going through the ugly times in life and life throws you a lot of pitfalls that you go through, guess what? The narcissist is not going to be there for you. The narcissist is not going to support you. And a lot of people get thrown by this because narcissists have a way of fooling people, and especially covert narcissists. They're very nice. Sometimes they could be there for you. Sometimes they could be very supportive to you. And you think like, wow, this person's in my corner, this and that. But what happens is, as time goes on, you see that they're not always in your corner. That's why you get the hot and cold from them. That the times that they were in your corner, the times they were supportive, they only did it now and then, okay? Or they did it to kind of look like the good guy to people. It wasn't because they really were there to support you. So a narcissist will never have your back. All right. That's why a lot of people that are in relationships with narcissists feel very much alone because, yeah, you could have your good times with that person. This is what causes the cognitive dissonance that people have, that confusion in their mind between the two different feelings. They feel like, well, this person has shown me, your kindness and been there for me. And in the beginning, they shown, vulnerabilities to me. That was all an act, you guys. That was all an act. That's not the real person. As time goes by, you see the core of that person. That's why I tell you, you have to look at the pattern of behavior over time of somebody. That is exactly how you're going to know what somebody is about. Not if they were nice one or two times, okay? Because they could be nice one or two times. And then when you really need them, you call them up. Guess what? They ignore your phone calls, or they get back to you hours later and they make up some lame excuse, or they dismiss you. And this is exactly what covert narcissists do. They dismiss you. They make you unimportant, okay? They don't validate you because they have an air that they're above that and they're not going to be, subservient to you to be that support system. They're not going to sacrifice for you to that degree. And this is what narcissists do. They confuse you because in some instances they can be supportive, but they're not consistent with it. That's how you know that they're not 100% in your corner and they don't love you 100%, because somebody that loves you 100% is going to be there no matter what, okay? They're not going to ignore you. They're not going to act like you're bothering them. And this is what a lot of narcissists do. They put you in a position where they make you feel like you're bothering them. Like, you're too much, you're overly sensitive, you're hyper vigilant, or whatever they're going to say to you because you're upset about something. They look at it like, enough already, I don't want to hear it. All right? Enough already, I don't want to hear it. They become desensitized to you because they don't want to put themselves in a position where they have to put themselves out because they don't love you unconditionally. And this is exactly why you need to distance yourself from these people. When you start to see that pattern of behavior, that somebody runs hot and cold, that one minute this person is so loving, they're so giving, they're so affectionate, they're there for you, they're on the phone with you for hours, and then, a couple weeks later, guess what? This person ghosts you, or this person is not around, or this person, dismisses you, or says, oh, why are you worried about that? Oh, you're so sensitive about something, or they're not validating your feelings, then you know that this person is not consistent with it. And that's exactly how you'll know, okay? A narcissist will not be consistent. They're consistent in the very beginning of a relationship. This is what fools people. A narcissist in the first 3 months is going to be wonderful. They're going to make you feel like they're your guardian angel. Like, oh, I can't believe I met this person and they got my back, and they're going to be supportive of me. They see I'm going through a hard time. Maybe you're a single parent and they're supporting you. Don't worry, I'll help you out with the kids. I'll be there for you. I'll never leave you, and everything like that. And they're wonderful in the first 3 months. And then all of a sudden, the pattern of behavior changes because the narcissist gets sick of trying to be there for you. They were there for you for some kind of supply, some kind of benefit, but now they pull back. And this is how you know that this is not, unconditional love, because they're not consistent with it. And this is what you have to keep in mind. You have to watch a person over a period of time to know what that person is. The minute that you start to see that inconsistency, that hot and cold, you know you're not dealing with a real one. You know that you're not dealing with somebody that you can rely on. You know that this person is not going to bring happiness to your life, okay? You know that this person doesn't think like you think. Once you recognize that you are dealing with a toxic person, you've got to switch up your brain and say to yourself, I'm dealing with a toxic person. Stop expecting them to treat me the way I would treat them, okay? And this is what causes people to be confused, because we say to ourselves, well, I would be there for that person. If they needed me or something like that, I wouldn't, dismiss their call, or I wouldn't ignore their texts or something like that. But when you deal with somebody who's a narcissist and they start doing that, they start dismissing you. In other words, you're going through something, you send them a text and they kind of like, just dismiss your text or something like that. And you feel like, you have that awful feeling, you feel that icky feeling like you're not being supported by this person, then you know that this person is not in your corner. Go by your gut. Trust your gut. I'm telling you, never doubt your gut. Your gut is always right, you guys, all right? So if somebody is giving you an uneasy feeling, if somebody is confusing you, If somebody is making you feel like, I don't understand this. Sometimes they're there for me and sometimes they're not there for me. Well, guess what? You're confused. And guess what? They're not there for you. They're not somebody that you can rely on. They're not somebody who's consistent. Watch the consistency. You're dealing with somebody who's toxic, who's telling you one thing and doing another, okay? Their words have to match up to their actions. And this is exactly what a narcissist doesn't do. They don't line up. They'll say something to the effect like, well, I have been there for you, or something like that. And meanwhile, they haven't, okay? Because you may look to reach out to them and, they cut you off. They'll give you the silent treatment. They'll give you excuses. They'll tell you they're busy. There's always excuses. When you're dealing with a narcissist, there's always excuses, okay? When you're dealing with somebody who's a straight up individual that is transparent, that isn't giving you the BS, there isn't all those excuses, okay? So number one, ding, 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 I'm dealing with a toxic person. I'm not dealing with somebody who's straight up that's talking fluid to me, okay? That in other words, I'm reaching their core. And when you deal with a narcissist, you will never, ever be able to connect with them, okay? This is why a relationship with a narcissist never works out. They will never open up. They will never be vulnerable to you and open up to you to the point where you feel that closeness. There will always be a wall up with a narcissist. And people get fooled because in the beginning, a narcissist will put on that fake mask and act vulnerable with you. They may tell you something they went through in their childhood. They may tell you something like, oh, I've never told anybody that story before. I can't believe I'm telling you. I feel so close with you. And you're thinking, wow, we're really getting close. This person, this could be my soulmate or something like that. And meanwhile, it was all to gain your trust. A narcissist in the beginning, in the first 3 months, the number one goal on that narcissist is to gain your trust. And why do they want to gain your trust? Because they want you to drop your guard, okay? Once you drop your guard, once they know they got you, that's when the narcissist is going to really hit you with that manipulation to get whatever they want to get out of you. It could be whatever. It could be money. It could be sex. It could be just an ego boost to know that they got you, all right? So you got to watch these people because, once you see that you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to distance yourself from it. You don't ignore those red flags because the longer you go with a narcissist, the worse it is to break from the narcissist. The more you're going to start remembering the good times and you're going to feel that confusion and everything. The minute you see toxic, you got to say to yourself, I'm dealing with toxic. Let me distance myself. If you can't cut them off, okay, then you have to just distance yourself from them and say to yourself, you know what? This is only going to bring me a lot of negativity down the road, and I have to back off from these people. These people will never validate me. These people will never be there for me, and these people will never love me unconditionally, okay? They are not in my corner. I have to back off from somebody who's toxic, okay? And this is why when you deal with a narcissist, you will never have unconditional love. It's always conditional. It's always for something, okay? You have to somehow benefit that narcissist, even if it's praise. And this is where people get confused too, because they'll say, well, the narc's not getting sex out of me. They're not getting money out of me. But what you forget is sometimes a narcissist just wants their ego fed. They just want praise. They just want you to line up, in alliance or allegiance to them and agree with them. They want you as a flying monkey to agree with them because it gives them a sense of, ego boosting and stuff like that. It gives them that grandiose feeling like, you're submissive to them. And this is what a lot of narcissists want. They want control. They want to be above you, where they control you, where if they ask you to do something, you better do it. And if you don't do it, guess what? they're not going to deal with you and they're not going to love you. And, you're nothing to them if you don't, stand at allegiance to them. And that's why it's conditional love. It's fake love. And you have to just distance yourself away from that. Okay? I hope that helps you. If it does, please hit the subscribe button and please share the podcast. Have a great day. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description. If you're having trouble in your relationship, or maybe you're dealing with somebody who's a narcissist and you're really confused, you don't know what to do, you need some advice or some clarity, well, I offer email and also phone coaching. Please go to the podcast description for the link on how to get email or phone coaching, or maybe you just have a question that you need answered. All questions will be answered confidentially. So go to the podcast description where it tells you how Yaz can answer your questions. Hi, you guys. I just want to make you aware that the Game Exposed podcast now has their merchandise available. You can check out the link in the podcast description. There's hoodies, there's sweatpants, there's t-shirts, there's cool hats. So go check it out. Link is in the podcast description. And follow Yaz on Instagram at dating_advice_Yaz.